Well, welcome to another Around the Lake. And today we have Bennett Funeral Services and we have Kyle Bennett. And Kyle, I think Bennett is a family owned funeral home, right?
That's correct. My parents, Rhonda and Robbie, started it in 2013. My dad, Robbie, has been a funeral director for nearly 40 years now in the community. And he just decided he wanted to open his own place to be able to better serve our community. I joined in 2020, and now my wife and I are here as the second generation in this family firm.
That's great. And I think you have two locations.
We do. Our primary location is in Newton. That's where we do all of our office work. That's where our chapel is located. And then we have a secondary location in Conover.
And if I heard you just now, so your dad, first generation, he already worked in the funeral home business?
He did. He actually started his career in the county as a funeral director and embalmer at several firms in the county. And then he just kind of saw the progression of how funeral service was becoming more corporate, not really serving families the way he thought should be done. So him and my mother decided they wanted to open their own, and they were able to do that in 2013. And we've been serving the community ever since.
I know, Kyle, your industry's changed a little bit in that there's a lot more cremations. Do you have an on-site crematory?
We actually don't. We're in the process of getting our own, but right now we use a third party. But we are able to provide those cremation services to families that wish for them.
Kyle, what would you say obviously Catawba County, and Catawba County is one of our four Lake Norman counties. We have Mecklenburg, Iredell, Lincoln, and Catawba. What would you say is your market area that you reach?
So we primarily cover the Catawba Valley, so kind of up into Hickory, some Lenore, and then reaching into the lake, the Denver, Sherrills Ford, Terrell areas. Those are kind of our primary reach, and then of course we're just trying to expand and educate people on who we are, because we are seeing a lot of growth, and we want people to know that we are a family funeral home in case people moving down here don't necessarily know or have a funeral home they've used before. We want them to know we are family owned, we're that community feel, and we'll be happy to serve.
Yeah, and that you kind of hit on what I was going to go next, because there's lots of choices when it comes to funeral homes. What do you think makes Bennett stand out?
I think it's the personalized care we're able to provide. A lot of people in their lives don't really need a funeral home except once or twice in their lifetime. Some people, unfortunately, more. But there's kind of been a negative viewpoint on funeral homes and funerals in general, and we want people to feel if they need our services that we're family owned. So if they come in and meet with us, we want them to feel like they're at home, that they're being taken care of, and it's not kind of a numbers game. It's not a corporate come in, do this, and then you're out. It's we want to be there before, during, and after they need our services.
Kyle, your business is one of those that what you just pointed out, you don't necessarily want to embrace the funeral home, but it's an inevitability. It is one thing that all of us at some particular point are going to need the services, whether it's you going and having a meeting with the funeral home yourself, or your family meeting with the funeral home. And I have to tell you that you provide a service, and so does the folks from hospice, that I don't know that I could do. I'm not sure that I could be in an environment where you're confronted with grieving families, but you provide an important service to the family that is left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is difficult. And I mean, we're kind of trained and taught to, you're there to allow the family to grieve how they want. So you need to be that stability. You need to be that support system. Of course, you can grieve with the families, and some grieve more than others, depending on the case. But we want to be here as that support. We want to provide the family all the information they need, all the services they need, take care of as much as possible for them so that they can focus on that grieving process, because it's a long process. And a lot of times it can be unexpected. So families are dealing with multiple things at once. We're just here to try to take care and relieve as much burden from them as possible.
I know you're a second generation and you had a conversation, I'm assuming with your mom and dad about being that next generation that steps into this role. But do you feel like you were called if this was a something that you were called upon to do?
I kind of do. Looking back at it now, I do now that I'm into it. In the beginning, I kind of just wanted to continue on that legacy, but now that I've done it, now that I'm meeting with families, I'm doing that. I do feel like I was called to do this. It gives you a great purpose, and you love when families are able to say thank you for all you've done.
Mhm.
Even though we serve many families, it's still being able to provide that personalized support for each and every family that comes through our doors.
Kyle, I was looking at your website and you have a lot of people that work there at Bennett Funeral Services.
We do. We have a full-time staff of about 10 to 12 people, and then a lot of our part-time help, about 15 or 20 of those. Most of those are retired people that just want to basically still serve the community, still have work. So most of those people work services. Our full-time staff is here in the office every day. We're open 24/7. So we have that staff that we're able to provide that service. And we're also very proud to have several veterans on our staff.
Oh,
So
great.
we know the sacrifice that veterans have made for our country, and we're happy to have those here that are still serving our community in a way.
Kyle, we've talked about kind of end of life services, not the happiest note in the world, but let's end on a happy note. What do you enjoy most about living and working in the Lake Norman region?
The people. I mean, it really comes down to the people. Everybody you meet, everybody you care for, it just becomes a big family to us.
Sure.
So we already have a great community here, a great staff here, but we're always happy to serve those new families or families that may not have needed our service before, but they can come in and then become a part of our family. And then that's what we enjoy most.
Well, you're a relatively new member of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm looking forward to working with you and getting to know you better. We have a new member reception coming up and hope you can make it so you can share a little bit more about your business. Want to thank Joe Bagnone. He's a local business broker that makes this presentation possible with Around the Lake. And Kyle, thank you very much again for investing in our Lake Norman region and for being a member of our Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely, Bill. Pleasure to be on here.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.